Yo, YouTube, what's up? I'm Tim. We got AC out in Philadelphia. Not really. We got AC. What's up, man?
What's up, Tim? On my new laptop. I'm very excited to be here.
Okay. Richard Janvrin up there in Boston, repping the Tampa Bay Rays. What's up?
Oh, man.
Nothing really. Happy to be back doing this show. Justin, today Junior Godsey out there in Phoenix, repping every team in the major leagues. What's going on, man?
Doing good, but I don't rep every major team. I only represent my Angels and my Yankees, bro. Just two.
Just all 29 of them. Okay, so we missed this show last week because we had some technical difficulties. Let's just go with that. We all got our big stories prepared for this week, so let's get it going. First off, today is Jackie Robinson Day. Thought we should honor that. One of the greatest players of all time and good influence. Okay, I said that. That part's over. My biggest stories, I have a few of them, and I'll get to a few of them later. I'll let you guys talk. The one for me, I just want to touch on this. Adrian Gonzalez gets a 7-year, $154 million extension. That's only $22 million a season. I mean, that's in the market. I think even a little lower than Mark Teixeira is making. A few mil less a season than Ryan Howard's making. So I think the Red Sox got a steal on this deal. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
AC, go.
Yeah, I agree. I think they made out pretty good on this deal. I mean, like you said, he less than Mark Teixeira is making, and I'd definitely put him up with Teixeira as far as the first baseman in the league right now. He's going to do big things for this club. I mean, $22 million, it's still a lot, but I think it's less than he should make.
Yeah, he's only 28 years old, too, so he's still right in that prime area. He's a solid fielder. I mean, for everything Carl Crawford hasn't done since coming over there, Agon's really done it there. He's done a nice job. Justin and Richard, what do you guys think about this?
I'll start off. This was actually a deal I was hoping that San Diego Padres would do and try to extend Adrian Gonzalez because this guy was a beast for the Padres. This was actually my dad's favorite team and still is my dad's favorite team, so I know a little background on him. Not a huge Padres fan, but this was the deal that has been asked that Adrian was trying to get from the Padres, but the Padres, I guess, didn't want to afford that deal. So he was traded over to the Red Sox, and the Red Sox got this deal done within the second week of the season. I think this deal is going to come out really well for him in 7 years. I think he's going to do pretty well with the Red Sox.
Yeah, that was a big key acquisition, as you like to say. Or no, key acquirement. Acquirement. Richard, what do you think?
Well, actually, it's not $22 million a year. It's $21 million a year until 2016, and it's $21.5 for 2017 to 18. He also has a partial trade clause and a $6 million signing bonus. Like you said, this is a little $2 million cheaper than Teixeira and Howard. In my opinion, I think Agon is better than Teixeira.
Yeah, I agree.
He is. I think that he's even better than Howard, to be honest.
As an all-around player, I would agree with that. I mean, power hitting-wise, that's what puts people in the stands, so I think Howard's worth the $25 million. But yeah, I think Agon's a steal at $21 million, you're saying now. So, I mean, nice job there by them. Next big story I have is the Josh Hamilton injury, and to me, everyone got so mad when Josh Hamilton. I mean, you got to see the play. He pops it, or someone pops it up in foul territory. Josh Hamilton tags up because the third base coach supposedly was telling him. Supposedly, he didn't want to do it, and he did it because the coach was telling him. Not only is he out, and I mean, if he makes it, this is a genius play. But he's out. He breaks his funny or humorous, which I've actually broken before, and he's out, and everything goes downhill from there. He's out 6 to 8 weeks. I can tell you he'll be out longer than that. From the injury I remember, he'll have the cast or whatever on 6 to 8 weeks. He'll probably be out 9 or 10 weeks. So it doesn't go too well for them. Luckily, they have the big bats, adding Adrian Beltre. And Bobby Valentine summed it up real well on ESPN Baseball tonight when he said, sometimes the best trades are the ones you don't make, and keeping Michael Young is going to turn out to be huge for this team.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Hamilton's obviously a huge blow to the offense. Yeah, I watched the play myself, and I gotta say, I mean, I know his third base coach was telling him to go, but as a player out there, you got to have some sense of what's going on, and it just wasn't a smart move. I mean, my coach even told me the other day, he said, look, if I give you the steal sign and you don't go and you just shake your head and say, you weren't feeling it, I'm not going to get mad at you. You can't get mad at someone for not feeling something that you're telling them to do as the coach. And I think Hamilton's got to have a little more sense than he did on the base paths. But even so, I mean, I got him on my fantasy team, so I'm going to see firsthand what his absence does.
Yeah, and I think you'll probably see more than the Rangers actually see with their stacked lineup. I mean, the bottom line, again, he's a genius if he makes it in this play, and I think Josh Hamilton wants to blame the third base coach, and I don't really blame him for doing so, but he holds enough power, having won the MVP, having taken them to the World Series, to kind of say, you know what, no. Who got them to the World Series, Josh Hamilton or their third base coach? That's basically what I thought about. Justin and Richard, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, you pretty much summed it up, so I have pretty much nothing to say because you guys pretty much dominated the subject.
All right.
I got a lot to say. All right. First of all, how many guys burned the humorous phone like head first in the home plate? Nobody. So his third base coach may have told him to go, but still, what was the possibility of breaking his humerus on that play? It was a good play. There was nobody covering home. The pitcher wasn't even covering home. It was a great call by the third base coach, in my opinion. He was out, sure, but still, he did get injured. But how many times are guys slid into home and not got injured? I don't think that the Rangers are going to be too lost without Hamilton. They're going to have David Murphy filling in his shoes while he's gone. Like Bobby Valentine said, good thing they kept Michael Young, and now Michael Young's willing to stay. The club's hot right now. They're 9-3. They're looking like another lock for an AL West title. Hamilton's going to be out for a while, but I don't think the Rangers will be hurt at all.
No, and I actually agree with you for most of that. I think it was a pretty smart play, actually. I mean, it didn't work out, and that's fine, but you got to take some risks. It's just that you shouldn't be taking the risks with the best player on your team. If this is a guy like, I don't know, I mean, I can't think of a pinch hitter off the top of my head for the Texas Rangers, but if it's a smaller pinch hitter who's fast guy, if you lose him, then that makes sense. It just doesn't seem to make a ton of sense to me when it's the reigning MVP who's already had some health concerns in the first place. Anything else you guys want to touch on that, or we move on?
You can move on.
All right. A thing I missed last weekend that I was really looking forward to covering, and I went on the King of Sports blog radio and talked with Brad Wolf, and I can tell you we were real far off on who believed who, or who thought who was right on this. You guys all saw that stabbing with the Giants fan outside Dodger Stadium, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically what happened, I mean, they don't know this for sure, I guess, but he got stabbed because he was wearing a Giants jersey coming out of Dodger Stadium. The guy's in a coma, I believe, still. He's probably going to end up with permanent brain damage. He's got like 2 kids or something. And now Dodger Stadium's going to beef up security outside a gang-ridden area. That part is on the Dodgers in a lot of senses. But people are saying, and I heard this on Philly Sports Talk Radio, is that it's kind of like, well, we get rapped on or whatever, bagged on for puking on a fan. Well, they stab people out in Los Angeles. This to me, and this is why I tried to get to Brad, and I just don't think he got my message, was it's one fan does not show up for a whole city. One Dodger fan stabbing this guy doesn't mean out of the 40-some thousand people in Dodger Stadium, I doubt any of the others do it. So I think that you need to stop grouping whole cities into, well, he threw a snowball at Santa Claus, so that means they're terrible people. Like, just move on. It's not the Wicked Witch of the West. They're not going to melt from a snowball. So I don't get the point here why everyone's so worried about things like that. Now, getting back to the Dodger thing, I just don't think you can... People are saying, well, Dodger fans are so bad now. It's not Dodger fans. It's 1 or 2 guys who they haven't caught, unfortunately, that take baseball too seriously. I mean, I love sports, and I take them very serious, and I get in fights with people. But this guy, or whoever did it, took it about 8 steps too far.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I'm not even going to get into the whole Philly fans, snowballs at Santa Claus thing, because we're never going to live that down, and I'll probably, if I start talking about it, end up stabbing someone myself. But going back to that thing, I mean, yeah, obviously, and to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't investigate with the investigation with this thing, and there was some other underlying factor other than the fact that he was wearing a Giants jersey. I mean, this guy was just deranged to stab a Giants fan in Dodger Stadium. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think Dodgers fans are getting a worse rap for this than they deserve, because just like you said, the bad apple spoils the bunch for them. That's basically sums it up for me.
yeah, and I just don't understand how you can take one fan and make it the whole city. Oh, well, they're such horrible people in L.A. now because they stabbed it. I mean, I don't get where that comes from. And I don't know. I mean, what do you... Justin, you're out there closer to the West Coast. What do you think?
I think this is totally unnecessary. I mean, everybody's expecting to go to a ballpark and have a great time, but it's a hostile game, and I just don't think it's necessary. I don't know the full story. I heard about it. I was like, I think it's gang-related. I think it's gang-related. I don't know for sure, but it's just my opinion. I think it's going to be a gang relation, like kid or something. So I think it's necessary. I mean, kids are around you. I mean, there's not a lot of witnesses is what I read and what I heard on the news and ESPN. They're still trying to have somebody come up forward and witness anything. But I still think that is really unnecessary. Little kids going to a ball game, and then when they come home, they'll find out, oh, a Giants candidate got stabbed in the parking lot. I just think it's unnecessary.
Yeah, and I agree with you. The thing why I'm not 100% sure it's gang-related is because the guy who got stabbed is like a 41-year-old paramedic, like with 2 or 3 kids. It's a normal guy. It's not some guy living on the streets or some guy that lives in the slums of L.A. It's like, I just don't buy necessarily that it's someone that is gang-related. Richard, what do you think?
I'm not sure about the whole gang-related thing, but like you said earlier, it's not, you don't get the whole city a rep. There's a bunch of low-life, ignorant scumbag fans out there with every team, even the Rays, the 50 fans that show up every game. But, I mean, yeah, a guy got stabbed. That's that Dodger fan you blame. You don't blame every Dodger fan. I mean, don't get me wrong, Dodger Stadium is a really hostile territory. It's like Philadelphia. I mean, I'm not bagging on Phillies fans, but it is a hostile area.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be, though.
No, I completely understand that, Richard, because you don't want to be on the opposing side of us. You really don't.
Yeah, well, you know, unfortunately, being a Rays fan, there's probably more of the other fans than us. But anyways, yeah, like, I don't know, don't hate on a whole city because of one ignorant fan.
Yeah, and it doesn't make you more of a fan or a better fan of your team by doing this, and I can't possibly think that anyone would think that, but if they do, they're wrong. I just think this is absolutely ridiculous, and baseball needs to clean their act up in a lot of senses, and this might be one of them. Final thing I gotta get to, and then I'll let you guys get to your things. MLB considering expanding instant replay to what they should have done 12 years ago, to every play, like fair and foul balls, safe and out calls, finally. Why can't they do it this year, A? Because it's not like they didn't institute instant replay the other year in the middle of the season. Not that they ever use it. But I'm going to go on my Bud Selig rant pretty soon. My every 4-month Bud Selig rant. I can't stand the guy, and hopefully he's done at the end of this year because his deal's up. I just can't stand this guy. He's not with the times. He's so out of touch. Instant replay is not going to make these games go faster or slower, really, because it's not going to be asked to be used most of the time. It's going to be asked to be used in certain cases that you can just... And it takes like 3 or 4 minutes. It's like people watch it in the NFL and it works out fine. They use it occasionally in the NBA and NHL and it works fine. So Bud Selig just needs to... Well, I think he needs to get out. He's never going to join the time, but something needs to be fixed here.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I don't see any problem with it being used. The people who are still preaching the human element of the game are complete idiots at this point, I feel, because it's destroying, well, I don't know if it's destroying, that's probably too much of a word, but it's taken away from the game. is my point. And, I mean, if you're going to call a guy out who was clearly safe by a half a step, or a call that could a 10-year-old could have made, I mean, that's where I draw the line right there. If it's a close call, yeah, I can get over it, or something. Or, you know, if it's a fair and foul ball, it's a close call, you can get over it. But those calls that ruin games, and especially games late in the season, I mean, you gotta put instant replay in, because it's just, with all the technology out there, it's hard not to use it, is my point.
Yeah, and something you got to look at. What if one of these huge calls is made in the Game 7 of the NLCS, or heaven forbid, Game 7 of the World Series, and it shifts it? I mean, obviously then they'll start fixing things, but it doesn't need to get to that. They can fix it now. I mean, who is really against this at this point? The whole human element. So you're saying we have technology out there that can perfect humans, so you'd rather have them just be wrong for the sake of sticking with baseball in the 1920 style. I mean, I like baseball the way it is. I'd rather see pitches. I don't want steroids in the game. I don't like a whole lot of new things and changes to baseball, but this is one that's just absolutely necessary. Richard and Justin, what do you guys think?
Justin, you can go ahead.
Alright, I think I like to keep the game where it is right now. I mean, you guys are saying this game should change up a little bit, is what I've been hearing. I still think, I mean, all these rule changes is just like, why don't you just change the whole game around? Why not keep the game where it is? I have to keep it on both ends. I mean, I like some of the stuff that they're saying and some of the stuff that they're not. I like to go back to the mono perfect game. And if the rules are going to be the rules that is going to happen, that might happen, were supposed to be in play last year, I think that would have been better, because Armando Galarraga really deserved that perfect game. But on my part, I just want to keep the game that it is. So that's all I have to say.
I don't agree with that, but go ahead, Richard.
Alright, either one or two things need to happen. One, while you guys are saying they need to implement the instant replay and give like a certain amount of challenges or something like they do in football, like 3 challenges to each team. Or 2, they need to keep the human element, but keep the human element under the age of 75. You've got umpires like Joe West, who can't even see. Like, I watched this guy, he's been an umpire for 30 years, and I can't stand him.
Joe West is a terrible umpire either way, but go ahead.
He's the most arrogant umpire in the game, and he makes, I think, probably the worst calls besides, I don't know, it's some black umpire. I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
It's CJ. I think it's CJ something.
Yeah, something like that. And I don't know, get new umpires or instant replay.
Yeah, or both. I mean, Joe West, if his flab off of his chin doesn't kill someone who's arguing with him in the next 10 years, maybe baseball will finally make it to the point where they can institute instant replay. It's ridiculous. Alright, you guys get on to your story. AC, what's your big story of the week?
My big story is actually a question. And I was looking over all the records and everything, seeing what I would do for my big story, and I came across the standings, and I see Boston at 2-9. I mean, everybody obviously knows what's been going on with the Red Sox. My question to you guys, I'll ask you guys first, is are you genuinely concerned with the Red Sox at this point? Genuinely concerned?
You know, I'm concerned with their pitching, but you gotta look at that division. The Orioles, yeah, their offense is great, but I think if you look at the lineup or the pitching, it's just not good enough to win. The Rays are a mess, as I said they were going to be. They're a year away from really returning. The Blue Jays, yeah, Kyle Drabeck's up, and I think they're a year away from actually legit contending in that division. And the Yankees, Mr. Overrated Phil Hughes just got hurt. I mean, the guy's... I don't understand why people think he's good. He had a 4.7 ERA this year. He started off slow this year, or last year he had the 4.7 ERA. He started off slow this year. I don't get what is the draw to him. Ivan Nova, or however you say his name, I mean, he's Ivan Nova. I mean, how long is he going to keep that up? CeCe's pitching well. AJ Burnett's pitching well. We'll have to see. But I'm not concerned about the Red Sox because Carl Crawford isn't going to go a whole season like this. John Lackey doesn't suck this bad. I mean, there's Clay Buchholz and John Lester have always been slow starters. I'm not that concerned.
going over on my side, okay, being a Red Sox hater, I have somewhat concern for this team. Their biggest holdup has got to be Dice K. I have a lot of problems with Dice K. I mean, he made a video a while back saying, will Dice K get traded? Will he go on assignment? This guy is it's pretty much untradeable. I mean, I bet no team will actually pick this guy up. I really have to think about if Dice K will ever... He'll probably bounce back, but not for sure. I don't know. I'm not really a big Red Sox fan, so if I start this part, so I apologize. But I think the main thing that's holding back the rotation is Dice K. I mean, this guy has a huge ERA right now. I don't know what it is right now, off the top of my head. I think that Dice K just really, really needs to improve now, or possibly go down for an assignment or try to get better.
Yeah, I mean, he was supposed to be this great thing, and not only has he not been that, but he hasn't even been close. I'm going to look up all their stats real quick here, the pitchers, because it's been bad. But I think... Yeah, go ahead, Richard.
Lackey's actually doing worse this year. He has a 15.58 ERA, and Dice K has a 12.87 ERA. I know that just off the top of my head because I looked it up a couple days ago. But, yeah, I don't see why they have Dice K still, even if they have to absorb the salary. You have a guy like Felix Dubrun, who I think is actually half decent. Or even Tim Wakefield, who's better than Dice K.
Yeah, Wakefield has a 5.79 ERA. Buchholz is a 7.20 ERA. He's much better than that. Josh Beckett, encouraging sign, has bounced back 1-1, 2.08 ERA. John Lester really hasn't been that bad. He's 0-1 with a 3.72 ERA. So I think some people might be panicking a bit too much there.
Well, yeah, I mean, Lester, I don't have concern for at all. I don't think I don't think Lester's as bad as going to be as bad as people are just going on about him. And the same with Beckett. He'll bounce back. Buchholz will bounce back. He'll win 15 games this year, probably pretty easily. But the other two, yeah, they are bringing down the rotation. I'm sorry I interrupted you, Richard. Go ahead.
I kind of have concern for this team, and I'm kind of worrying, for all the people in Red Sox Nation, because, you might say it's only 12 games. Yeah, it's 12 games, but it's going to get to a point where they're going to be 7 games back in the first month in the AL East heavyweight division. Even though the Rays aren't playing hot, they're still going to get some wins. The Orioles are always hot at the beginning of the year. Same with the Blue Jays, and the Yankees will still win. They might be like, it's not a big deal for like another month and a half, and all of a sudden there'll be 12 games back. Then they're screwed. Even though it's 20 games to the season, they're 12 games back, they're not going to get out of that hole. It's going to be really tough. And, 2-9 right now, that is kind of a cause for concern, I believe.
There's a cause.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you on that one, Richard. I mean, it just gets to the point where, okay, how many games can we lose before we are genuinely screwed in this division? I mean, the pitching is raising concern with Dice K and everything. You guys pretty much hit it on the head as far as that. The lineup, I don't have genuine concern for as I do with the pitching staff, but I mean they still got to hit better than they are.
Yeah, and, Crawford's been a bust right now, and he's not going to be that.
Yeah.
He's batting 152. Yeah. Ellsbury, another overrated player, is batting 189. Euclid's batting 182. He'll get better. Scudero's batting 172. He'll do better. Jared Saltalamacchia, there was one of the big questions, and he is not playing too hot right now. You got to see what happens with that.
Sorry, as far as Jared Saltalamacchia, and it might sound crazy, you guys might think I'm crazy, but put Veritek as a starting catcher. Clearly, Saltalamacchia isn't ready. If you look at, Veritek's played in one game this year, and that was with Beckett, and look how Beckett did. That was a great game. He might not be the greatest hitter, but Salty isn't the greatest hitter either, and Veritek's a much better catcher. He's better at calling the games. The Red Sox want to turn it around. That's one step into turning around this team. Put Veritek behind the plate.
Yeah, and he has the leadership. So I'm just going to say one more thing, then we'll move on. The Red Sox have a deep bullpen still. They have some guys that you could potentially move for a starter. I don't know if Bobby Jenks has a huge value. We'll have to see what he does. Although he looks decent so far. Jonathan Papelbon, if he gets his stuff together this season, could have a value. I don't think they'll trade Daniel Bard, but, I mean, not that he's pitching at all well with a 9.64 ERA, but they have a chance. Richard, what's your big story for the week?
Real quick, actually, the Red Sox are leading right now 3-2, so they might go to 3-9, so hold your breath. But the big story is the replacement Chuck Norris at Sam Paul. The reason I say the replacement of Chuck Norris is the best Twitter accounts out there, the Legend of Sam Paul. They got all those jokes. There's actually one joke that was Sam Paul didn't crash into the Green Monster. The Green Monster crashed into him. I actually am kind of grateful that Manny got suspended and he retired. Well, he didn't get suspended,
Yeah, we
he
know.
didn't actually get suspended, but you know what I mean. And that they let Sam Paul come in, and Sam Paul is absolutely tearing it up. Right now, he actually, I was just watching the game before I switched the channel, and he actually hit a double today. He's hitting in like the 330 range, I believe. He's doing great. At Fenway, his home park, and he's from my home state of New Hampshire. He's from Durham, which is like 25 minutes away from where I live, which is pretty cool. He almost hit for the cycle with 4 for 6. He could have had the cycle, but he instead took a double, which I think speaks volumes as far as integrity goes. He's actually hitting 366 on the season. My apologies there. He's 3 for 4 today. So I mean, I think that Sam Paul, if the Rays have a shot at contending this year, there's probably a slim chance. But if they have any chance at all, this guy's going to help them out a lot.
Yeah, he's really been tearing it up. He had that amazing play in the outfield the other day. I mean, I don't know I'm happy to see Manny Ramirez out. I used to like him. He's a bum, though, really. I mean, I am happy to see him out of the game, and quite frankly, it's near the end of the steroid era. You need A-Rod out of the game now. You need David Ortiz out of the game. And who else cares about the rest of the guys? Jason Giambi, is he even relevant anymore? Quick update, Roy Oswalt has left the Phillies game with an injury, unspecified, but he has an injury. They're up 3-2, so we'll have to keep our eyes on that. But unfortunately, we're not live, so it won't matter anyway. Justin, what you got?
Well, you guys heard about the Phil Hughes injury. Talking about my Yankees here. Phil Hughes, this guy is currently going on the 15-day DL with a dead arm. He's been playing the past 3 games with a dead arm. So, I don't know how bad this is really going to affect the Phillies. I mean, Phil Hughes was just terrible in his past 3 starts. He's 0-1 in 3 appearances with an ERA out of the books at a 13.94. 19 hits, 16 runs, and 16 earned runs. This is all what we got on the Phil Hughes page. I'm going to have to say, with Freddie Garcia with the number 5 spot, I think this is time where Bartolo Colon is going to hop in here. The Yankees also said that Pedro Feliciano could have season-ending surgery, and he's trying to get a second opinion on the doctor. And I still haven't gotten an update on Pedro Feliciano, but the bullpen, the Yankees are currently looking for a bullpen now, since Feliciano was supposed to be a big piece of bullpen. Right now, the Yankees are going to be trying to look for that bullpen piece. So, if you guys have any prediction on who should the Yankees go after, please feel free to open up.
I got a guy. You want to go, Tim? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go. I'm not really sure who they could add at this point. I mean, bullpen, it's tough to find a good one on the market. It's usually just someone gets waived. Pedro Feliciano's a beast. I've seen him with the Mets for years. I'm happy he's out of the division. But that's why you can't be too panicked about the Red Sox. I mean, you got to be a little bit. But the fact that the Yankees are having these issues too, I mean, it's not all pretty in the Empire either.
Yeah, well, the guy that I was thinking that they could possibly go after the Yankees, it might not happen, but it's a possibility. David Percy, who was designated for assignment by the Blue Jays, he's a left-hander, but he's a right-hander specialist. I don't think that the Blue Jays would deal with him in the division, though. That's the only problem. But, I mean, that's definitely a guy they could look at, even though, like I said, it's probably unlikely. But, yeah, I mean, the Yankees have a lot of issues now, and if they bring up Bartolo Colon, I think that's silly. They should bring up Carlos Silva, even though he's a complete heavy case. I think he's a lot better than Bartolo Colon.
Yeah, Bartolo Colon's a joke at this point. I mean, Carlos...
I mean, Bartolo Colon, I'm surprised he even still has an arm, like a right arm. It's unbelievable with all the stuff that's been going on with him. But, I mean, Phil Hughes, that's not a huge blow. I mean, he sucked the first week or two of the season here, and with Richard saying that guy's name, who I can't remember, what was his name?
David Percy.
Yeah, him. I mean, don't count the Yankees out for getting him, because you can never count the Yankees out for acquiring anybody.
Except Cliff Lee.
Yeah, except Cliff Lee.
But I mean, you know, the Yankees might be having some starting pitching concerns, but I think that they're going to try to go out and get a start at the trade deadline. I actually, on my blog, which is MLBLakersNews.tk, I actually wrote an article for a trade candidate, Fausto Carmona. I believe that the Yankees could highly pursue him because, for one, he's pretty good. I mean, he's a lot better than I'd say everybody besides CeCe in the rotation.
Yeah, I mean,
could entice.
No, go ahead.
And it could also entice CeCe Sabathia to accept his player options for 4 years, $92 million. His old teammate, they were for 3.5 years. So it could be a win-win situation. I see Fausto Carmona as a good fit for the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few issues with the Yankees going after any start. I mean, they weren't willing to give up guys like Montero last year for Cliff Lee. Doubt they're going to be. I mean, they're going to be asked to give him up probably for Fausto Carmona. And if you're not giving it up for Cliff Lee, you're probably not going to give it up for Fausto Carmona. Everyone says, well, Felix Hernandez is out there. He's still 24. He's still got 3 years left till free agency. Yeah, no reason. A guy who I've actually heard is a possibility, and the Marlins do have a new stadium opening up next year, and supposedly they want to be decent. But Josh Johnson, I mean, this guy I would say is a better pitcher than Fausto Carmona. He's very underrated. I mean, going into late last season, I think he had an ERA like low 2s. I mean, the guy's a beast. He really is. This season, he's 2-0 with a 1.35 ERA. And I got to find his career stats here real quick. But he's been really good over the past few years. 11-6 last year with the 2.30 ERA. The year before, 15-5 with the 3.32 ERA. He's like 28, I think, 27, somewhere in that area. He's still pretty young, and I think he's actually a legit pitcher. I mean, the Yankees can go after someone like Fausto Carmona, but he's just been inconsistent throughout his career.
I have to throw something in here. Carlos Silva, the Yankees got signed most likely minor league deals to a couple veteran pitchers. I mean, Carlos Silva, this guy has been in an incident during spring training against Ramos Ramirez about poor pitching or something like that. They also got Kevin Millwall. I mean, Kevin Millwall is really, really old, but this guy, critics have been saying that Kevin Millwall has been terrible for the Yankees down in the minor leagues since, I mean, the Yankees need help right now in the bullpen. I mean, Jabba Chamberlain, he's one of my favorite Yankees. Boone Logan, that guy is pretty much going to be an everyday reliever pitcher. And so is David Robertson, that guy I see constantly last season. This team just needs to find that bullpen pitcher. I can also possibly throw in a minor league reliever. I don't know my favorite one right now. I really want to be called up. I just have to look out their farm system. It's just they just gotta find that one pitcher that they can actually use pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
You're saying that they should call up somebody. There's a couple of guys at the top of my head that I think the Yankees could call up. Manny Banuelos, who's been selling for them, and Dylan Betances, or also Andrew Brackman. He's another solid guy who was actually in the running for the fourth and fifth starter positions for the Yankees. I mean, so basically, you're looking at your options: Dylan Betances, Manny Banuelos, Andrew Brackman, Kevin Miller, Bartolo Colon, and Carlos Silva. I mean, that's quite a few options there if you look at it like that. I doubt they'll call up Brackman and Banuelos and Betances because of service time. They don't want to interfere with that, so they can delay their free agency. But yeah, they can come over to the Yankees. But they could also even trade Betances and Banuelos for a big name pitcher. They don't necessarily trade them.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see here. I mean, I think the thing with Kevin Millwall and Carlos Silva, they're both past their prime, and really, for both of them, they gave up they had like a 4-point-something ERA the last couple of years, so nothing's real special about any of them. I don't know. I mean, I think the Yankees are going to have to add at least one pitcher, probably two, which means they probably won't be able to go after one legit ace. They'll probably have to go after two B-type pitchers. So that's why I'm just not sure they're going to be able to win this season. I'm Tim. Special thanks to Richard Janvrin and Justin Gatti of MLB Baseball Blogs. Great job by you guys again. And AC, thanks for coming on. And remember, guys, go hit a cycle. I'll see you later.